What's cracking? This is Darren, Help with the Heart McDuffie, back with another episode of A Man, a Pan, and a Plan. And today I'm going to share with you one of my favorite recipes. It's a recipe my mother used to make when she was living, and I'm going to show you how to make it today. And it's a salmon croquette or salmon patty recipe. So here are the materials that we're going to be using. First, you're going to have your salmon. You're going to actually use 2 cans of salmon. And when you go to the store and you get your salmon, just make sure that it doesn't have any foreign ingredients in it. It should just be salmon and maybe water and salt. So we're going to use two things of that. We're going to use a half cup of almond flour, and I made this recipe healthy. My mother used to make it with white flour, but I'm now changing it and moving on to using almond flour. It makes it a little bit more healthier. We're also going to have salt. We're going to use pepper. And we're going to use a little bell pepper and a little onions. So let's get right into it. The first thing I did, and what you did not see, is I took the can of salmon and I strained it out. So you want to make sure you get the water out and you're just dealing with the salmon. And if you look at the salmon looks kind of gross because it has skin. I leave the bones in there. You can buy salmon without bones, but what I find is if you leave the bones in there, you do get a little bit of extra calcium. And salmon is really good because you get some omega-3s. You get vitamin D, which all of us need. Vitamin D has been shown to fight cancer. So, like I said, I start with just the whole salmon, the skin, and everything. And what you're going to do is you're going to take a spoon. And what I do is generally just mash the salmon a little bit to just get it out of the clumps that it's in. And you want to make this a smooth consistency. Try to get as many of the clumps out of there as completely possible, because what we're going to do is we're going to actually form this into a patty. And you'll find that once you start dipping your fork or spoon or anything in there, it's going to break up pretty easily. So we'll just do this for a little bit more. And now it doesn't look so gross. Like when you start with it, it looks a little bit gross, and I'll admit that, but it doesn't look so gross anymore. So alright, I think that I have that the way that I want to have it. So, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients. So I have my bell pepper here, and I'm just going to throw that in there. A little white onion. And now I'm going to do a little bit of almond flour, like half a cup of almond flour with at least 2 cans of salmon. So, and the almond flour is just to give it some consistency and actually bind the salmon together. So I'll put that in there. And what I'm going to do is, this might be a gross part. Oops, I almost forgot. When you do the mixture, you're going to add 2 eggs. So if you have 2 cans of salmon, then you're going to add 2 eggs to that. So, all right, so that's mixed. Now I'm going to add a little bit of salt. I don't do a lot of measuring with my salt. I don't particularly like my my food salty. But if you like your food with a little extra salt in it, that's up to you. I don't do measuring in my stuff. I just put it in. So. And I'll mix this, put the salt in there and mix it around a little bit. Get what's on the bottom to the top. Add some more salt. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the pepper. Alright, mix that a little bit. And I got salmon going everywhere, so I'm going to do that. Alright, so I'm going to put a little bit more pepper again. Alright, and from here it's just pretty academic. All you do is take some salmon in your hand, form it into a ball. I'm a perfectionist when I'm doing my patties, so like to make my patties big because I'm a big guy, so I like to eat big patties. So you can see that that's all together, and that's how it looks. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. I got my pan here, and I have the best oil in the world, and that is virgin coconut oil, one of the great saturated fats. So make sure you're not using vegetable oils or corn oils. They are very bad. These are the best oils, and they're made by nature. Coconut oil, avocado, oils like that. All right. So I have this all heated up, and what I'm going to do is just drop the patty in there. And just let that brown on one side. It usually takes about maybe 5 to 8 minutes, and then turn it over and let it brown on the other side, and then you have your patty done. So now I'm going to cut the video off, and then I'll come back and show you a little bit later on what the finished product looks like. All right? All right, so I'm back. So now you can see how the finished product looks. And these are not going to come out perfect, like a perfect round patty once you put them in there and you start them to cooking, but they are very tasty. And these take about 5 minutes to make. You can see me mix the ingredients. You get your oil ready on the stove, and you just pop them in there. And then you can combine these with different things. You can eat them with sweet potatoes. You can do cabbage. One of my favorite things to do is actually okra. I'm from the South, so we do okra and stewed tomatoes with this, and it tastes really good. So I hope you enjoy the recipe. Make sure you leave me some comments on a man, a pan, and plan on the actual video. And visit me, Darren Help with the Heart McDuffie, on watchyourtrainerblog.com. Thank you.